How about now? How about now? How about now? Just given the delay, it might take a second, but okay, but not yours. Okay. Yeah. Well, that does make it a little tricky there. And 1, 2. Okay. Okay. I honestly don't know how to solve this. Well, it's really too bad because we had such a great thing planned. Yeah. So to anyone who's listening, Roman was just asking me if I can make do with just my audio, since we can't seem to get the audio from the other folks in Spatial to come through the stream based on any number of variables that are in place. And I think the answer is yes. So why don't we just give it a shot, and for people who are watching the stream, they will just have to imagine that you're all having a deep conversation about what it is that we're doing. So we can try. Yeah, but I think it would be good if you could. So, yeah, all right. Yeah. So, all right. So the reason that we decided to try this today was to show how you could probably use this. Again, it's much clumsier if you're trying to live stream the view instead of just using it in a headset or a browser. But one of the things that we wanted to show was the possibility of having a type of completing a task or having a meeting that you ordinarily would have using any number of other tools like Google Meet or Zoom, or in combination with things like FigJam or Mural or the like. So if my compadres would join me in the design review room, which is nicely labeled Design Review Today. Roman, you've got some serious dance moves. What we're witnessing here is a previously unconvinced person of the value of the metaverse who finally got a headset and set it up, and he is experiencing Spatial from his side as an actually immersive experience. It's also experiencing one of the challenges, and that is that sometimes you have to endure the regular computer interface as well. And so then you take the headset off and put it back on and so forth. So anyway, what I want to show you here, so what we're going to do today is run through what is a pretty simple design review. And in this case, Justin, our super designer, has created a couple of wireframes, 2 sets of wireframes, for a study of our global navigation on the website. And without going into too much crazy detail, what I have here is this pair of wireframes over here is showing, let's zoom it and you can see, showing how a sign in and sign up link and or button might appear. And I'll go back to the room view and show option 2, And so theoretically, these are two different versions. One has sign up as a button, sign in is a link next to it on the right, and this one is sign in is the link to the left and sign up is the button. So this is really about hierarchy, it's about order, and so forth. Oh gosh, these changed sizes. I'm going to just change the scale back to 2. So what I've done is I've actually locked these items on the wall so that they can't be accidentally moved around, but they might be inaccidentally moved around. So anyway, it's, oh boy. I'm going to lock it, and there we go. So as in many design reviews, what we might do is have Justin sort of present his thoughts on these different designs and how he wants us to respond, questions that he has for us to consider with regard to these, and he might present each of these designs. But in this case, we're just going to have everybody take a look at them and put their votes by way of adding a sticky note, which is similar to the large sticky note I've put up on the wall that says Design Review today, next to the design that they prefer. And this is sort of a simplified sort of KJ method way of making a decision in a group. And so the invitation to the team is to come into this space, take a look at the different designs, and make their votes. And then afterwards we could have a discussion. Of course, if the audio was working correctly, then you would hear the discussion and we could talk about, if it's a close vote, there might be an opportunity to have everybody recast their votes to make a better choice if they wanted to, or a different choice. So the second set of wireframes is it's a little it's a little less subtle a difference. And so in this case, this is once you've logged in, we have this a link to the dashboard and a link to sign out. And one of the things that Justin had wanted to explore was this idea of making it seem more personal. It should be locked, and that's locked. To make it seem more personal, and in that case what he's done is he's showing the username of the logged in person, and there's some technical challenges or design challenges actually with this, because the username could be any length of characters, but we're using that as this is an example for the design review. And we've actually had this design review in normal verse by voting on it in using GitHub as the platform to do that. Anyway, so this is option 3 where it says my dashboard. The use of my seems to rub some people the wrong way. There's web history about the my this, my that, my. And so anyway, I think people bristle a bit when they see that. So anyway, so here you have it. And if I were looking through my headset, I might have this view. So I'm going to zoom all the way through my avatar's body so that you can sort of see that. Like, I'd be able to walk up and like, yeah, cool, okay, so hierarchy, the meaning of the primary button, which would be sign up, and the secondary action, sign in. And then we might have a conversation about the fact that people generally only have to sign up one time, and unless they get automatically logged out based on security guidelines, that they would only have to sign in once again if they've been signed out. And so I can sort of do this. I feel like I'm at the art museum and I'm looking at things on the wall. And the other thing that I can do is, obviously I can get a pretty good view of the wireframe here, but I can always click on the magnifying glass and see the full-size image over here. And we can put PDFs up, we can put these, in this case, these are just PNG files that I uploaded, and okay, so someone's excited about election season. And so sometimes when you do a design review, and especially if it's contentious stuff, what you might end up with is the loudest voices driving the conversation, the strongest influencers getting their way and trying to convince people to do things. So one method that we could employ is just not all be in the same space while the voting is happening, and people get, just like in a real voting situation where they might have the freedom to vote without the scrutiny of someone looking over their shoulder and saying like, what's wrong with you? Why would you pick that one? That's a bad design. So, as you can see, Roman is experimenting with his newly found dexterity because he has controllers in his hands and he's able to move this around in space. And for the rest of us landlubbers who don't have our headsets on or paired with this, we have to click and drag. So I'm going to zoom back behind my avatar so you can see what's going on in the room. So I don't know that this Metaverse thing is necessarily the best for every context, every type of meeting, every type of activity. It's in the past when our team has done design reviews and we've done ideation exercises, we've used Google Meet as a screen share, and we've used FigJam as a big sort of board to put things on, to vote and put comments and the like. And I don't know, my preference would be for something like this. But again, once you're in a headset, this is a vastly different experience. And I think vastly better. So, Roman, you're very pleased with your handwritten note, which you can really only do if you're in spatial with a headset. But I don't see you actually casting a vote. I suppose this is the problem with having a meeting in a space where people with limited attention spans might be just lost in their own world, and there are not that many distractions available in Google Meet, for example. Oh. I do wish that everyone on the stream could hear the rest of the audio. We'll have to sort of, there isn't much, but that which there is phenomenal. So I guess I'm going to vote as well, and oh gosh, let's see. Yeah, I'm going. So I'll take a sticky note. Yes, and let's see. I encountered a couple of glitches earlier on when I was. Oh, thank you for moving my vote. Oh, Roman, I'm voting to option 1, please. Wow, this is called a proxy vote? Okay, thanks. It's definitely much easier to place things in 3-dimensional space when you have a 3-dimensional controller like a headset's hand controller. All right, and am I going to vote for this one? This one's problematic. I like the idea, but username, it could be anything, up to 30 characters long. And I'm just thinking what happens on a mobile view. That will be a bad mess. Yeah, so Roman is just sharing the technical details that, and given Open edX, which is the platform that the gymnasium is built on, maximum number of characters for a username could be 32 characters long. And I have no doubt that we have students who have run into that limit and had to compromise on fewer letters. Okay, well, I better cast my vote so that we can do this. Yes. And I'll move it myself. I guess this is a good enough opportunity to just show you something kind of interesting about space in spatial, no pun intended. This is an object, just like anything. If I wanted to vote with a boombox instead, I could do that. And it's just another object. So my sticky note is a yes. It's an object. It has an X, a Y, and a Z orientation. And this means where it is in space. It also has a rotation value. As you can see, I can spin it in front of me. And it has a scale value, so I can make it large or small. And X, Y, and Z mean more or less what you might remember from geometry class, or anywhere else where you've encountered those. So let's see. So X is would be left and right, and you're thinking, wait a minute, it's heading towards me. Most important thing is to realize it's a horizontal plane. The actual orientation is based on the space of this building, this virtual environment that we're inside. And Y obviously is up and down. And the danger, of course, is that you can make something disappear into the ground or beyond the ceiling. And so that makes it kind of weird because it's too easy to place things and lose them. But it does get complicated because if you click and drag on it, so you can see these numbers are changing. My X, Y, and Z values are changing. And I'm moving it around in 3 dimensions of space, even though my controller is effectively only 2 dimensions. I'm using the trackpad on my mouse, on my MacBook, which means I can move it left, right, up and down, forward and backward. Doesn't really make much sense, but yet you can see that it's moving forward and backward in space. So it can take a little getting used to, sort of trying to figure this out. But as it turns out, with regard to this room, where I'm facing, X and Y tends to be, X tends to be further and nearer, and Y is up and down, no surprise, and Z is left and right. Okay. So it can take a little bit of getting used to, but once you figure out, based on where you are in the room, in the space, how to manipulate these objects so that they don't disappear through the wall, and you can sort of place them more or less on a wall. And when you're done, you press done, and there are many objects allow you to lock them in place, such as this. And now no one can accidentally move my yes vote away. And so, wow, considering the terrible technological problems that we encountered in the beginning, this live stream seems to have immense educational value. So, and I suppose for those of you who haven't joined any of these insane stumbles through the metaverse, I can run through just 1 or 2 quick review bits over here as well. So one is, if you're wondering how we got these epic avatars, they look exactly like us in the real world, which is really crazy. Although Roman's neck tattoo is actually a temporary tattoo, and he puts it on first thing every morning. But we've created our avatars using the website Ready Player Me, and where you can create really awesome avatars, and they can connect to spatial. And I have a little surprise. It's almost as if I anticipated that we were going to be apologetically doing a live stream because the audio wasn't going to work or something. But I want to show you that there's a new integration available in spatial, which is kind of interesting. And so when you click this plus button to add content, you get a bunch of different choices. And so right now you're looking at this. This is an absolute mess. There's no doubt that the recent listing and the content thing is just kind of a mess. And when you click on stuff, well, stuff, of course, is just stuff that they give you to add, like a Rubik's Cube. Let's put that there, just why not? Of course, it would be really cool if you could interact with it and try and solve it or unsolve it, but either way. But one of the options that I noticed is Sketchfab, which is a new integration. And when I say integration, you can see that there are a bunch of different integrations that are available. In this case, here's Google Drive. I could attach a Microsoft account and basically push, like, whatever stuff that I've got in those storage spots, like in OneDrive for Microsoft or in Google Drive, documents, videos, drawings, etc. Sketchfab is a 3D clearinghouse. It's a place where people post their work. It's a place where you can sell your work as well. And there's a really nice selection of stuff. It's all really generally high quality models, and you don't have to go to another site or go to the Sketchfab site, download the models, import them, hope that they're the right format, etc. Through this integration, the files that can be placed into Spaces and Spatial are made visible. And so any of these things that we see, theoretically we can include. And there's only one caveat that's worth pointing out. So anyway, macaroon, why not? It looks disgusting. I mean, it's an amazing macaroon. I mean, anyone hungry for a macaroon? A macaron? It looks like it's dusty, dirty. I don't know. Oh, you can see inside. That's the thing about 3D models. You can see the inside. What's the ingredients? Oh, ugh. Okay, so you can include these models from Sketchfab in your Space and Spatial. I just keep on walking through it, forgive me. And the only, I'll say, caveat is that it automatically puts this label, tells you what it is, and has the link to view on Sketchfab. But like every object, there are controls, and I'm pretty sure that we can change that so we can say, don't show the panel. Show the panel? I don't know what happened to that model, but I guess the model disappeared. Did someone eat the macaroon? Okay. I'm going to just add another one. Well, Ramon, you're moving around something, but I don't know what that is. That's weird. It's very inaccessible text. Well, let's try this one more time, see if we can get rid of the label that way. Hey, I'm all for, oh, excuse me. I'm all for the attribution, certainly. So, info. From a recent trip to the Sketchfab team in Paris. So this was made by somebody who works at Sketchfab. That's so cool. And let's see. So if I disable, there we go. There's our macaroon without a label on it. The information is always available. So if you click on it and say info, you can read that. So there's the usage attribution requirement. Sweet. All right. Well, thank you, Sketchfab, for the integration. It's awfully kind of you to make these assets available to us, so we don't have to go searching all over for them and hoping to download the right format or converting it to the right format so that it'll work inside Spatial. And I don't know, maybe I would eat that macaron. I guess if I was convinced that wasn't like mulch or bark or something that's on the outside. I don't know. But it's quite realistic, I guess, for a barky, mulchy macaroon. So let's see what this is. This thing that, so this was what Ramon was moving around, and this seems to be the label. But I'm not too sure how that happened. Anyway, I'll just lock it so that we don't move it by accident again. And, all right, well, it looks like the voting is over. So that was exciting. And it looks like, not surprisingly, the votes align quite well with the way that that we all selected our preferences when we were voting earlier this week when Justin was demoing his wireframes to the team. Yeah, and so in spatial, of course, as Justin was just doing, we can clap, which makes hearts fly out of our hands, which I guess, who knows? I've never really thought of that, but and we can also do a thumbs up, I think, with a yes. Yeah, the Y key will let you do that. So a way of thank you, Justin. Great work on these wireframes. I appreciate the thoughtful options, and yeah, and then we can jump around because we're so thrilled. Yeah, so for those of you out watching the stream, Justin was thanking me for setting this up, and I guess I should just point out it didn't take very long to set up. Certainly it's taken longer to get the audio to get plumbed correctly so that it works in the stream. But I can show you just how easy it was to put any one of these items up. So we can do it just gratuitously right over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I put them in the frame, makes it kind of easy. So there's our frame, and that's one of the ready-made items that Spatial gives you to add to your space. And so actually, I'm going to move the frame. So I've got to get my bearings again because it's like facing the other way, but this is the same orientation. So we're there. I think I'd scaled the frame to a factor of 2 in order to make this work. And now we can click on upload art and put one of the options in. So that's option 2. It's a PNG that I had locally on my machine and uploaded it. And then we can lock it if we want, if we're happy where it goes. Of course, in the real world, this frame isn't really attached to the wall. It doesn't seem. I think it's a little off kilter, but that's right. And that's how you can do it. And if you wanted to put a PDF for someone to look through, you can put that into a frame as well. And you can navigate back and forth through the pages of a PDF if you had multiple things to show in there. Similarly, if we were voting on the most awesome music video of the year, and put a video into one of these picture frames as well. And we can play the video, listen to the music, and everybody who's in Spatial in this room ends up getting to hear it as well. So, all right, well, I'm looking at the time. I think it's probably about time to wrap this ill-fated live stream. We'll work on the audio. We'll keep on making fun metaversal content for you to enjoy so that when people talk nonsense about the metaverse, you've got some real experience seeing a bunch of people who should know better stumbling around and figuring it out. So don't forget to let us know if you have other types of group activities or meetings that you think would lend themselves well to this sort of chaotic and immersive experience, and we will see what other kinds of activities we could demo to spark your interest and imagination with the possibilities that are available in this less than usual meeting environment. So with that, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back better.